Anthony Quinn's decision to finally speak about Charles Bronson drew renewed attention to his own extraordinary journey. Born Manuel Antonio Rodolfo Quinn Oaxaca on April 21, 1915, in Chihuahua, Mexico, Quinn's life became a powerful story of perseverance and reinvention. The son of a Mexican father of Irish descent and a Mexican mother, he encountered hardship from an early age. After his family relocated to Los Angeles during his childhood, poverty defined his formative years. To help support his family, Quinn took on physically demanding work, including boxing and construction, experiences that later infused his on-screen performances with realism and grit. A defining moment in Quinn's life emerged through his passion for art and architecture. While studying under renowned architect Frank Lloyd Wright, Quinn's expressive intensity and distinctive presence were recognized, and Wright encouraged him to pursue acting. This guidance placed him on a path that would lead to a lasting Hollywood legacy. Quinn began acting in the 1930s, frequently cast in minor or stereotypical ethnic roles due to the limitations of the era. Despite these barriers, he steadily refined his craft, determined to rise above typecasting. His breakthrough came in the early 1950s, when his performances revealed emotional depth and complexity that could no longer be overlooked. His first major triumph arrived with Viva Zapata in 1952, where he portrayed Eufemio Zapata, the volatile brother of revolutionary Emiliano Zapata. The performance earned Quinn his first Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, making him the first Mexican-born actor to win an Oscar. He followed this success with a second Oscar for Lust for Life in 1956, delivering a moving portrayal of painter Paul Gauguin. These achievements firmly established him as an actor of exceptional range and power. Quinn's career reached iconic status with his unforgettable role as Alexis Zorba in Zorba the Greek in 1964. The character became inseparable from Quinn himself, joyful, philosophical, passionate, and fiercely alive. His performance earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor and introduced him to a new generation of audiences around the world. Zorba transcended fiction, becoming a symbol of resilience, joy, and the unbreakable human spirit, qualities that closely mirrored Quinn's own philosophy of life. Over the course of his career, Quinn appeared in more than 150 films across multiple genres and languages. He portrayed historical and religious figures such as Jesus Christ in La Strata, Barabbas in Barabbas, 1961, and Atta Abu Tayi in Lawrence of Arabia, 1962, one of his most celebrated performances. In every role, Quinn brought dignity and nuance to characters that might otherwise have been reduced to stereotypes, resonating with audiences worldwide through his balance of strength and vulnerability. Beyond acting, Quinn was a prolific painter, sculptor, and writer. His artwork was displayed in galleries across the globe, reflecting his deep appreciation for form, beauty, and cultural expression. He believed creativity should never be confined to a single medium and approached art with the same intensity and fearlessness that defined his acting career. His memoirs and written works revealed a man constantly exploring identity, purpose, and the true meaning of success. Quinn's personal life was as intense and complex as the characters he portrayed on screen. His relationships unfolded over decades, reflecting both his devotion to family and his restless, impulsive nature. In 1937, he married actress Catherine DeMille, the adopted daughter of legendary filmmaker Cecil B. DeMille. For Quinn, who had grown up in poverty and struggled through years of rejection, the marriage offered both emotional grounding and professional opportunity. Through the DeMille family, he gained access to influential Hollywood circles, though he remained determined to succeed on his own merit. During their long marriage, Quinn and Catherine had 5 children and maintained the public image of a stable Hollywood family. Catherine devoted herself to creating a supportive home as Quinn's career steadily advanced. However, his intense temperament and growing appetite for life placed increasing strain on the marriage. As his fame grew, so did his reputation for infidelity. Quinn later admitted that impulse, ego, and a desire for constant stimulation often drove his unfaithfulness, deeply damaging the trust between him and Catherine. After nearly 3 decades together, their marriage ended in divorce in 1965. In 1966, Quinn married Yolanda Adalori, an Italian costume designer significantly younger than him. She brought a European artistic sensibility into his life, and their relationship initially offered renewed passion and emotional rebirth. They had 3 children together, and for a time Quinn appeared committed to building another family while balancing his work between Hollywood and Europe. Yolanda played a central role in managing daily life as Quinn continued acting, painting, writing, and traveling extensively. Despite the appearance of stability, this marriage was also undermined by Quinn's inability to remain faithful. During his marriage to Yolanda, he maintained a long-term relationship with Friedel Dunbar, with whom he had 2 children. When this parallel relationship became public, it caused emotional distress and legal complications. Quinn was also widely rumored, and at times openly acknowledged, to have had relationships with iconic actresses of Hollywood's golden age, including Carole Lombard, Rita Hayworth, Ingrid Bergman, and Maureen O'Hara. These affairs shaped his image as a magnetic yet deeply flawed figure, admired for his passion but criticized for the pain he caused. By the 1990s, after more than 3 decades together, Quinn's marriage to Yolanda Adalori had deteriorated beyond repair. The situation reached its ultimate breaking point when Quinn became involved in an affair with his secretary, Catherine Benvin, a relationship that once again resulted in the birth of 2 children. The emotional toll of this betrayal, intensified by years of infidelity and public humiliation, finally brought his marriage to Yolanda to an end in 1997. Their divorce was contentious and widely covered, serving as a public reflection of the long-standing tensions and unresolved issues that had accumulated over the years. After the collapse of his second marriage, Anthony Quinn went on to marry Catherine Benvin, formalizing a relationship that had already reshaped his private life in profound ways. Even at an advanced age, Quinn remained deeply engaged with his family, welcoming fatherhood again and openly expressing pride in his children. This final union embodied both consistency and contradiction, highlighting his enduring desire for companionship and family, while simultaneously reinforcing the behavioral patterns that had characterized his romantic relationships for decades. Throughout much of his career, Anthony Quinn was frequently asked to reflect on the legendary figures of his era. Yet he was notably reluctant to speak when the topic turned to Charles Bronson. The 2 actors were often grouped together, known for their rugged physiques, raw masculinity, and the unmistakable sense of menace they brought to the screen. It was only later in life that Quinn chose to address Bronson openly, offering observations that were neither exaggerated nor dismissive, but instead revealed a deep respect for the man behind the formidable image. Quinn believed that Bronson's on-screen persona was widely misunderstood. He once remarked that people viewed Charles as an impenetrable wall of stone, unaware that this hardness was merely a form of armor. Beneath it, Quinn said, was a man who had fought relentlessly to rise from absolute poverty. Coming from a background marked by hardship himself, Quinn saw a reflection of his own experiences in Bronson. Both men had known hunger, struggle, and the constant fight to survive. Quinn felt that this shared history fueled Bronson's intense screen presence. When discussing Bronson's acting, Quinn rejected the idea that he lacked range or depth. According to Quinn, Bronson spoke through restraint. Every gesture and every silence carried meaning, requiring discipline and intelligence rather than excess. Quinn admired Bronson's ability to command attention without dramatic speeches or exaggerated performances, relying instead on a quiet, controlled intensity that audiences could not ignore. Quinn also addressed Bronson's reputation as a difficult or distant figure within Hollywood. He acknowledged that Bronson was guarded, but believed that caution was well earned. For men who grew up as they did, trust did not come easily. In Quinn's view, Bronson's toughness stemmed not from arrogance, but from a deep instinct for self-protection. Early lessons had taught him that vulnerability could be used against him, and he carried that understanding throughout his career. Despite recognizing their similarities, Quinn pointed out meaningful differences between them. He noted that Bronson was far more solitary by nature, while Quinn himself thrived amid chaos, crowds, and noise. Bronson, by contrast, valued distance and silence. Quinn never interpreted this preference as aloofness. Instead, he saw it as Bronson's way of maintaining control in an industry that often sought to reshape actors into safer, more commercially appealing versions of themselves. Quinn believed that Bronson ultimately became a powerful symbol, not merely of violence or vengeance, but of the working man who refuses to be defeated. Audiences around the world connected with Bronson, Quinn felt, because he embodied authenticity. He looked like someone who had genuinely lived the hardships his characters portrayed. When Quinn finally spoke publicly about Bronson, he made clear that his intention was not to elevate him into myth, but to present him honestly. Bronson, he said, was not flawless. None of them were. But his strength was genuine, and that honesty was rare. In those reflections, Quinn offered a final tribute rooted not in rivalry or rumor, but in shared experience, mutual respect, and an appreciation for a fellow survivor whose impact on cinema would endure. In the later years of his life, Anthony Quinn retreated from Hollywood's spotlight and found tranquility in the coastal town of Bristol, Rhode Island. Its quiet beauty provided him with solace after decades of commanding performances and restless creativity. Removed from film sets and public attention, he spent his final year enjoying the simple comforts he valued most: privacy, contemplation, and expansive views of Narragansett Bay stretching toward the horizon. On June 3, 2001, Quinn died in Boston at the age of 86, succumbing to respiratory failure caused by complications from radiation treatment for lung cancer. His passing marked the conclusion of an extraordinary life that spanned cultures, continents, and generations of film, leaving behind a legacy few actors could rival. News of his death was met with widespread sorrow from admirers who had come to see him as a larger-than-life figure, intense, passionate, and deeply human both on screen and off. His funeral took place at the First Baptist Church in America on College Hill in Providence, Rhode Island, a location steeped in history and quiet reverence. It was a fitting setting to honor a man whose life story felt almost legendary, shaped by adversity, achievement, and an unwavering devotion to art. Family members, friends, and admirers gathered to reflect on a career that brought unforgettable characters to life and redefined the limits of leading men. In a final, deeply personal decision, Quinn's wife requested permission from the town of Bristol to bury him not in a traditional cemetery, but in the place he cherished most, his own backyard. The couple had purchased the property in 1995, drawn by its serenity and sweeping view of the bay. There, beside an old maple tree that had long stood over the land, Quinn had found peace and belonging. The request was granted, honoring both the family's wishes and the actor's profound connection to the place he called home.